This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we're the ones who encouraged you all along to like and share them on social media and with all of your friends and neighbors, because it's time now for Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World and hosted by Joanne Seeger.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having an awesome morning. I'm absolutely feeling fantastic this morning. I just love those mornings, and we have one very special guest. It's her second time coming on to the show. I think the first time she was live in studio, but this time she's on a Zoom call, but it's okay. I get to see her beautiful, happy face on the screen. So welcome, Jamie, to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so Jamie is the founder of Whole-SunWellness. So WHOLESUN Wellness. It is a mushroom company. So if you're kind of listening going, well, I don't like to eat mushrooms. These are like medicinal mushrooms. They're absolutely incredible. So you definitely want to listen to the wealth of knowledge that she possesses. And remember, it's a live call-in show. So if you have had any questions about why is everyone talking about mushrooms, why are they adding it into their food and their smoothies and their coffee, this is the person you want to ask those questions to. We are privileged to really have her on the show because you're one smart girl.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
So Jamie, we usually do breath work at the start of every show. Would you like to join us for that?
Yep, I will.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so every month we're doing a different breathwork style. So this month is the box breathing method. Are you familiar with it?
I am not.
Okay, so they also call it the Navy SEAL method. And I was listening to a doctor's podcast yesterday, and he was talking about he's a pulmonologist and asthma. And he actually suggested the box breathing method when you have exercise-induced asthma. And I was like, yes, this is absolutely awesome. You know, I love when they're spreading the word, right? So, because it obviously exercises the lungs, but it also helps calm down the system and that anxiety that you might feel when you do have shortness of breath. All right, so I hope all my newbies listening participate as well. And I know if you're a regular, you're getting ready to do the breath work. So the first step is let's exhale anything that doesn't feel right. Let's relax our shoulders, our forehead. And so, Jamie, how it works, you visualize a box in your mind, and each side is the same count. So we're going to do 4 seconds today just because I want to get all the info in as soon as possible. So you intake for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. Okay? So you got it? All right. So you got it, sir?
4, 4, 4, 4.
Okay,
yeah.
you can do this. Okay,
think
usually it's 5. I'm only cutting a second from each side. All right, let's do 2 rounds, okay? And again, we'll get us all focused for the info that's about to come.
In for 4, hold for 4, release for 4, then we start
And
over
then
again.
hold for 4.
And then hold
So
for 4
remember,
after that.
4 sides.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to open up all the parts of our lungs and get them to really relax, but work at the same time. Okay?
Let it all out, and in we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. 2. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did we make it?
You did good. You did good. The last time it was even funnier. All right. So everyone perfect this skill as you're listening to Jamie and myself. So it's really good. You'll actually learn more if your body's relaxed and more open and receptive. So here we go. So Jamie, how you been?
I've been pretty busy. We just started our integration of all of our U.S. farms. One's in Florida. We just started our extraction facility. We also now opened a research center so we could start actually doing clinical research on the compounds in these mushrooms. It's just been super busy. Ever since I saw you in December,
Yep.
it's been go, 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 go. And next month, I'm doing this really big mushroom summit in Colorado, talking about supply chain, quality testing, how to tell what is a good product, how to make sure you're actually getting the benefits from the mushrooms, and we'll go into that. But yeah, but besides that, I've been great, just
So
busy.
in the this Colorado event, is that open to the public or?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's actually a psychedelic science conference and a mushroom summit. It's 5 days. So far, it's the biggest in US history. There's over 10,000 plus attendees. It is open. You do, of course, have to purchase a ticket, but there are some amazing keynote speakers and people in the industry that are going to be there talking about all kinds of medicine and what's the future of medicinal mushrooms. Because here in the US, we're a little behind on the mushroom train, right? It's always been big in Europe and in Asia, but in the US, it's only been starting to blow up over the last few years. And we're seeing in the next 5 to 7 years, they're calculating functional mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms are going to be the number one food.
I
I mean,
totally believe it.
it's crazy. I started my company over 7 years ago. And when I first started my company, it was like pulling hair trying to get people to take the mushrooms and like, hey, this is why you should take them. It's a superfood, it's therapeutic. Our bodies absorb it better than anything else. We're closer in genetic DNA to a mushroom than we are to anything else besides chimpanzees, right? And so it really does assimilate well in our body. And so over the years I've been educating, and I've had a lot of amazing support, but it's only been over the last probably year and a half, 2 years, that all of a sudden it's exploding. Everybody wants mushrooms. Everybody wants mushrooms in their products. Other companies, you're going to see a lot of that happening, where every company is now coming out with some kind of mushroom in their product. And so it's all a good thing, because it's food. It's an amazing food. It's just therapeutic. So
Well, Jamie, you know
I'm
what?
excited.
When you said about like really having to convince people, I definitely found the same thing from a
Mhm.
retailer perspective. But once Matt and I started, I think it's a couple years now, if not longer,
Mhm.
that we use your powders every single morning in our coffee.
Yeah.
I really don't taste it.
No.
I don't taste it at all. And so that's where I don't understand, because I definitely want to go to your philosophy and how you, changed a career direction and why.
Yeah.
I mean, because yours is so concentrated. So it's this tiny little serving in a
Mhm.
nice sized cup of coffee, and there's
Yes.
no flavor at all. And
No.
I've tried the brain formula, the energy
Yeah.
formula, digestive, the cordyceps, I've tried every single one of yours, and really I'm like, oh, it's
You really can't
yeah,
taste
it's
it.
not like it's bitter or it's like sour, like there's no weird flavors,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
that's where I don't really get it. And I'm not
No.
like a big mushroom eater, so it's not like I love mushrooms.
Mm-mm. No, and these are different than culinary. I mean, some of these medicinal mushrooms like shiitake, maitake, lion's mane, you could saute up and eat, and they taste amazing. But you would have to eat a whole bunch to get the therapeutic benefits that we're getting in our product. Because, when we take these mushrooms and we're growing them on their natural substrates, which are hardwoods, mushrooms are like us. They need that hardwood to absorb those nutrients to make those important compounds that are therapeutic. So you look at lion's mane. Lion's mane got really popular back in the 90s when a Japanese researcher discovered nerve growth factor. That lion's mane and tremella both, they stimulate nerve growth. neuropathy, people that have nerve pain, or, nerve endings are severed. It's going to re-stimulate that and grow, but you can only get that benefit as if you're taking it in like an extracted form. If you were just eating it as a culinary, like sauteing it up with some vegetables, you're not going to get those benefits, because you've got to be able to extract the mushroom, pull out the compounds, and have the heat. And so when I started my company, before, a little bit about me is, I actually started my career in, I've always been around natural medicine because of the way I was raised. But I started in aviation, and I thought about doing pharmaceutical, like being a pharmacist. And I just was like, yeah, I'm not jiving with this. I ended up having my daughter, chose to stay home with her. And then I started, making my own medicines, selling it at little farmers markets, everything. And then about, I don't know, 10 years ago, I ended up getting offered a job at a really big mushroom company here in the US. That was a medicinal mushroom company. And I worked for them for 2 years. And during the time I was with them, I loved my experience, and I really just dove into the medicine even harder. I was like, oh my gosh, mushrooms are amazing. But when I was working with this company, they were not focused on the fruiting body, the actual mushroom. They were focused on the root system, which is the mycelium. So I felt like a lot of the benefits were being depleted, that it was like, why it's like taking out a tomato plant and eating the roots, but not eating the fruit. Right.
Right.
And so I just decided, I'm going to start my own company. I had no idea what I was doing. I just had a passion, and I love mushrooms, and it cured me. At the time, I have Crohn's colitis. I was about 90 pounds during the time that I started working with this company. I was rectally bleeding really bad for 4 months. They wanted to remove my colon and do what was called a J pouch. And I was like, no, you're not touching my body. This is ridiculous. So I started using different natural things to try to establish some balance in my colon. And it wasn't until I started taking chaga mushroom. And I was really consistent with it for a good 12 months. But in the first 6 months, my body started changing. I was gaining weight again. The bleeding was decreased. I was starting to get balanced. Within a year, I was in full remission. And that's been a long time ago. And I never take chaga anymore. And what's really crazy is when I did the research on chaga, everything chaga is good for is gut issues like Crohn's, colitis, IBS, leaky gut, all of that. And so that is how, Joanne, that's really how I dove into the mushroom category, because it changed my own life. And then the more that I was researching, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a food that's therapeutic, and it's a preventative, but it's also, they're healers. Mushrooms go into our bodies, and I always call them like little scrubbers. They go in, they like scrub, they detoxify, they cleanse us, they break our bodies down, and then they start restoring and rebuilding and making our bodies balanced. So if you have like a chronic disease, or like the gut issues, it might get a little worse before it gets better, but it's going to maintain it and balance your colon where it needs to be, where you truly don't have to take it every single day again. If anything, you would take the mushrooms as a preventative to keep yourself healthy, especially if you're doing something for the brain, which we all need brain support. So, for our immune system, it's good because it is truly a therapeutic food. But when I started my company, there was just a lack of what I felt quality on the market. And so I had to build everything from the ground up, from the farms, from the supply chain, from, processing these, from testing methods. We are the first company globally that is testing every active constituent in mushrooms now, and vitamins and minerals. There is a huge profile of vitamins and minerals in these medicinal mushrooms that people aren't even aware of. Like, I recently discovered there's calcium in mushrooms. I never thought there was going to be calcium, So to me, it was really important after my own journey, is like, I wanted to produce something that somebody could take and their body would assimilate and connect with it without having all these additives and fillers and synthetics. And the best part, it's food,
And I
and I get
love that,
people
Jamie.
back to that, but it truly is. And when you take our powders compared to like because it is an extracted mushroom. So we break down the chitin, the fiber, which is the outer structure of a mushroom. We do this so your body can absorb it and make it bioavailable. If I gave you a dried mushroom and grinded it up, your body couldn't absorb it correctly, and you wouldn't get those medicinal active compounds that are therapeutic. So our powders that you're taking, like a half teaspoon, even a fourth teaspoon, is measured out as a therapeutic dose. So you don't even taste it. I mean, we recently had to launch capsules because for years my customers were like, can you just please do a capsule? And it's not because of the taste, it's because people get busy.
Yeah.
They're active, they're go, go, go. And it's sometimes more easy to take a capsules when you're ready to go than mixing up your powder, putting it in coffee. I prefer the powders. That's why I
Me
started that
too.
way.
Yeah, me too.
But because you just really get connected with what
Yes.
you're putting in your body.
Exactly, and it feels more like food, and a lot
Mhm.
myself and many of my really good customers, we have pill fatigue. We're just
Yeah.
like
Oh
really
gosh.
over the pills, and that's why I
Mhm.
think all these, disgusting gummies have taken
Oh
this
gosh.
huge,
Yeah.
place in their market, and it just drives me crazy. But I understand though, because
Yeah,
it's just the pill fatigue is absolutely real, and it's
it
like,
is.
and you feel like this, it's something that's not connected to you, and that's why I love when you describe the mushrooms being like us. And
Yeah.
do feel like it's just removing the boundaries and opening the communication within the
Yeah.
body just so it does what it was designed to do.
It's
That's why you
supposed to
don't have
do.
to depend on them. They're just like,
Mhm.
hey, I'm here to help. Let me
Yep.
just clear up some junk and let you communicate, and then thank you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes,
I love
exactly.
them. My
Yep.
biggest stress of your line is which one to choose in the morning,
Oh gosh. Yeah.
so I do want to spend like a
Okay.
majority of the show kind of like when people come to the section, I have it right next to the cash register, and they steer like deer in the headlights. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I want to pick one, but which one do I pick?
Yeah.
Because everyone sounds amazing, and then maybe because of budget restraints you can't do every singular
Yes.
mushroom. So can you just go into like the bullet points of each one and how
Mhm.
someone could help choosing?
Yes. Okay. So let's start with the single mushrooms. And I will, we could spend hours talking about one mushroom. So I'm going to just keep them really short.
Yeah, definitely
So like,
bullet points.
yep. So lion's mane, as I said earlier, it's great for neuropathy, focus, acuity, mental health. Somebody that's struggling with depression, anxiety, all that, it's going to aid in being more balanced, right? It's also great for the digestive system. Every time you think of lion's mane, though, just think the brain awake. It really
Okay.
wakes up the brain, and it does work with the brain gut connection and the receptors. It is a phenomenal mushroom. This is one that you would not take in the evening because it is kind of a stimulant, and most mushrooms are. So, like if you were taking lion's mane in the evening and you can't sleep, well, it's probably because of the lion's mane. So
Okay.
that's something I always want to talk about because it truly wakes up your brain. Brain fog, focusing, a college student to somebody that's aging and wants to keep their brain healthy. Shiitake is my number one favorite mushroom now.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
also the other mushroom that focuses on brain support. And the really cool thing about shiitake, it's the highest in vitamin D. It's high in B vitamins. But in a study they did with shiitake, as we age, our memory just goes to hell. Like where's my keys, how to focus, just things like that. Well, what happens is the nutrients from our food isn't absorbing correctly in our brain anymore. We are getting depleted. They've shown that shiitake keeps those nutrients in our system with those high B vitamins that help with brain function so we can have better memory. So shiitake is phenomenal. It also helps stimulate brain tissue regrowth, acuity, focusing. It also is number one as like if you had to pick one single mushroom, that is one that's going to work every single system in your body.
Okay,
Every
I'm
system.
taking notes, Jamie. So
Yeah.
the lion's mane, I always call it the brain one, like you
Yep.
said. But shiitake, you mentioned a few things I didn't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So it works every function.
Every
And
function. It
so
is number one. It's the only mushroom that works every system in your body, including your brain. Most mushrooms do work all of our systems, but they don't work, our brain function as well, where shiitake does. It's just a phenomenal mushroom. I feel like it doesn't get the credit as some of these other ones because it's not showcased as much,
you're
but it's,
absolutely right. People think
mhm,
of that more culinary than they do
yeah.
medicinal.
No, it's become one of my favorite mushrooms, and I'm continuing to even learn more. I mean, all these mushrooms surprise me. And so I'm constantly educating my own, myself on them. But like shiitake definitely is one that's going to help keep the nutrients in our brain, in our system, so we can age better. We can remember from memory loss as we're aging, everything. So that's a really good one.
And does that one also require doing in the morning for a stimulus?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a morning
Just
one too.
when I'll go over reishi right now because
Oh,
this
that's the
is
one I'm on.
yep.
That's what I'm doing right now, the reishi.
Yep. So reishi, just consider all mushrooms are good for the daytime except reishi. Reishi you can take in the day and you're fine, but it's really truly meant to take in the evening because it's number one. Like when they did a big PubMed study on different natural things, it was number one for insomnia. It helps with sleep. It balances cortisol levels. It is a calming mushroom. It's a liver detoxifier. It's a natural steroid. So people that have asthma, respiratory allergies, all of that, it's going to help calm. It also too, it's great for women's hormonal health. As you're going through menopause, it's number one for all women's hormonal health. It
Well,
truly is the calming mushroom.
so Jamie, that's why I want to tell you why I picked this one. So I have, I'm postmenopausal,
Yeah.
and the morning time for me is a little frantic. It's where even no matter how much is fine clockwise, family wise, business,
Yeah.
inside, I still get that nervous energy. So I was kind of self-diagnosing myself, thinking if I did the reishi to
Yeah.
control that cortisol and get me calmer, then it would be a better, more productive day. And it is absolutely
Mhm.
working. So
Yeah.
I will put that out there that if you do, do it in the evening for insomnia, that
Yeah.
sounds great. But I am doing in the morning.
And
It
that's fine.
doesn't make
That's
me
fine.
tired because I'm already vibrating too
Yeah.
high, and it just calms me down a little
Yes.
bit.
And that's Joanne, that is what reishi is supposed to do. It's always been known as the calming mushroom in traditional medicine, especially in Asia. You can take it whenever you want. I just tell people like, hey, if you're having issues at night sleeping, a lot of times it could be your liver. It needs to be detoxified. There's other things, and so you can take reishi at night and it's going to help you sleep. It's also going to help with pain and inflammation and stuff like that as well. So it truly is an amazing mushroom. I always kind of push reishi toward women, and now go into cordyceps. So I look at reishi as like the sister, cordyceps as the brother, the like calming and the hot,
All right,
right?
Amy,
So,
unfortunately, it's break time.
oh, okay.
So I want you to, yeah. So like I told all my listeners, a wealth of information. I hope you guys are taking notes as well. We're just going to take a break and we will be right back with Jamie from Whole-SunWellness, a mushroom company, but so much more. So we will be right back. Hi, this is Joanne from Nutrition World and Wellness Center. I am really excited to introduce new guests and topics to my show every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. here on WPSL, where my listeners can call in on any topic. If I don't know the answer, I'll try to find it. We want to help you become the best version of yourself. We'll have naturopaths, coaches. I am looking forward to sharing my years of experience with my listeners so we can enjoy this life journey together.
Visit Joanne's Nutrition World in the Kras Square, formerly known as the Arcade Building, located at US 1 and Orange Avenue, across from Fort Pierce City Hall. Open Monday through Friday from 10 to 4, Saturdays 10 to 3. Taking appointments for the Wellness Center online at joannesnutritionworld.com or call 772-464-3598. Join Joanne Seeger as she guides the Treasure Coast to health, one person at a time, on Joanne's World of Nutrition, now on a new day, Wednesday mornings at 10 on WPSL.
I am so excited to share with all my listeners all the cutting-edge health topics of today. I look forward to hearing from you. Remember, it's a live call-in show. Any questions you have on health and nutrition, I look forward to answering.
Join us here for Joanne's World of Nutrition every Wednesday morning at 10 on WPSL.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
We now return to Joanne's World of Nutrition with Joanne Seeger.
Hello, everybody. All right, we are here today with our amazing guest, Jamie. She is the founder of Whole-SunWellness, an incredible mushroom company. And if you missed the first half, she has a wealth of knowledge about medicinal mushrooms. So it's kind of like I kind of equate the mushroom story a little bit with turmeric. You hear about it. It's so medicinal, and it's a healer and anti-inflammatory, and it can be used for everything. But you can't really eat your way through turmeric once an issue comes up. And same thing with mushrooms. You can't buy a few shiitakes and throw them in a soup once a week and there you go, you're all good. So she's going over, because we have limited time on the show, she is going over the mushrooms that I sell. I sell her entire line other than the capsules right now.
Yes.
But we have all the powders because I really, I love the powders, and they bring all my customers and clients relief rather quickly. So Jamie, you were on, I think,
Cordyceps.
Cordyceps. Oh,
Yes.
I love Cordyceps.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
So Cordyceps is actually one of my favorites as well. It is truly the stimulant, get up and go, energy, endurance, stamina, cardiovascular, metabolism. It truly helps with adrenal fatigue. It is great for chronic muscle relief after a workout or pre-post. It's great for oxygen intake with high altitudes, right? Or people that have breathing issues. I call Cordyceps, it's great for women, don't get me wrong, but it's the man's mushroom. This is one that really caters to men's health. It's going to help with hormonal, testosterone, libido, the energy, the blood flow, cardiovascular, everything. And I feel like there's not a lot of things that are focused on men out there. It's like, yes, us women, we have a lot of things that cater natural stuff for our own hormonal health, but this is one that a guy could take, and it's truly going to be great for their testosterone and every other aspect. It's also great for infertility. This is one mushroom, though, you would never take at night. It is such a stimulant that you will feel it. And I always tell people, especially with our mushrooms, because they're so concentrated and potent, less is always better of our product. As long as you're taking 1/4 of a teaspoon, you're getting the therapeutic amount, which you need at least that baseline. But if somebody takes a 1/2 teaspoon of cordyceps and like, whoa, I am just feeling like I can fly right now, like my energy, then maybe, dial it down a little bit. It's not going to make you crash and burn. It's not like caffeine. You're not going to get jittery. But truly, this is a phenomenal mushroom. And by the way, all mushrooms except cordyceps help with candida. So
Okay. Well, you might want to let my listeners know what candida is, because I have found that even though it's been in public acknowledgement for years, people still don't know about it. So
yeah, so I just always explain it as an overgrowth of yeast, right? And so it really can upset the body balance. Now, I don't know if there's more a medical, like explanation for candida, but it causes a lot of health issues. And so mushrooms, everyone thinks, oh, mushrooms are mold, they're this, they're not, they're like, we have a mushroom in our deep brain called black fungus. When people saw that, they're like, oh my gosh, there's no, it's not fungus like that.
I'm
It's not
gonna
like
grow
the mold.
mold inside my body. Yeah.
Yeah, so cordyceps doesn't help with that. But one thing I want to say, every mushroom I'm talking about are very strong immune fighting. Most of these mushrooms mimic each other, they just do a little bit of a different thing. So cordyceps, you're always going to look at cordyceps as your get up and go. It's a great replacement than if someone is drinking, like, say, energy drinks or doing that kind of stuff. They really should be doing cordyceps, because it's a natural energy and it's not going to make your body out of whack, and you're not going to, have to need more as something to keep going, if that makes sense.
And Jamie, honestly, too, I mean, energy drinks and coffee drinks are very expensive now, and they
Mhm.
have serious health effects. And so
Yep.
that's what I tell people when I think you price your mushrooms very reasonably. I really do
Yeah.
for what they get. But sometimes people will be like, oh, and I'm like, wait, how much are you spending on your energy drink per day
Yeah,
or your
exactly.
fancy coffee drink? It's so much less, and
Yes.
you get all those health benefits without the
Mhm.
jitteriness and that crash.
Exactly, exactly. So cordyceps is a good one. Maitake is a really good one. It's one of the strongest immune fighting mushrooms. So during COVID, that was number one that people were going to. I mean, they've done the most research on maitake too for the flu virus, everything back in the 90s. It truly is a phenomenal mushroom. Another thing great about maitake, it's great for metabolism. So people that want to lose weight and they're having a hard time losing weight, they could do maitake, and it's going to help balance their metabolism so they can lose weight. It's better than taking some of these diet medicines like pills and stuff. It also will help with sugar cravings, all of that. It's been really popular for glucose levels, like blood sugar. So if you're type 2 diabetic, you can take maitake. The only thing is if you're taking something already, you would have to have your doctor work with you so you don't drop your levels too low, because maitake is a natural, balancer for people that have type 2 diabetes. So that's one thing. Most of these mushrooms don't have any drug interaction. I guess I should go back to reishi. Reishi does have interactions with blood thinners. So if somebody's on a blood thinner, they really should not take reishi at all.
Okay.
Maitake is fine. You just have to watch your levels. And a lot of times when people are taking the sugar pills, they actually will convert over to maitake instead of taking the pharmaceuticals. You just have to work with a physician, so you're not dropping too low. But maitake is a phenomenal mushroom. I always tell people it's the strongest immune fighting mushroom. So like during flu season, if you're working in customer service or anything like that, this is one that's going to be a natural defender off of viruses and other stuff that people are worried about.
I have been to many lectures that are based on oncology, and they
Mhm.
will always use maitake as a
Yes.
reference point for cancer.
Yes.
And I have a silly question, but when you buy the maitake diffraction in a capsule,
Hmm.
okay, would that be equatable to your powder serving?
So the diffraction is just a process, that they've put out there. Our maitake is super strong, right? It has all the active levels of the compounds needed to be therapeutic. And so if somebody is set on wanting maitake diffraction, they're getting the same benefit from our maitake. We actually, Joanne, when I started my company, I didn't go into retailers right away. I went into clinics. We're in about 46 clinics across the US, and about 80% are cancer clinics, by the way. So we work directly with so many oncologists. We work with psychiatry, oncologists, and family medicine. We only have a few naturopathics that we work with, which is crazy. I thought they would just eat us up, and instead it's been MDs. So,
That is
if
crazy.
yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
But it's been that way for 7 years. And, we have and hearing the stories and having the clinicals from the oncologists that use our mushrooms as a staple. Our deep immune product, the state of Utah sponsored it from all the way from Utah to Idaho on billboards. My daughter saw it. And the first thing I said is like, I didn't pay for that. What the heck? Why is my deep immune product on a billboard?
Right.
And come to find out, it was the Cancer Institute of Utah that was showcasing my deep immune product during COVID, but they also use it as a staple in treatment. They call it complementary medicine, but yeah, so
Amy,
our
that's
products.
incredible. That's
Mhm,
absolute congratulations on that.
yeah,
That's really
I,
an
I've
incredible
been,
accomplishment.
yeah, and it's really nice seeing like, wow, our mushrooms are changing the markers with treatment, with people going through chemotherapy and different kinds of cancers, even with pets. We had a lady that started using the maitake and turkey tail on her dog that had cancer, and she like sent me, I came home with, there was flowers, there was a card of her dog, and her
Oh,
dog is 100% okay. Like she was dosing him with mushrooms. And it's just, so it's not, mushrooms aren't just for humans, they're also for our animals. They're very healing. But I know we don't have much time, so I'll keep going on the blends. Because I mean, there's always like, if anyone ever wants to reach out to ask questions, I'm the one who responds to the questions through my website. So I am more than
why
happy
don't
to
you take
answer.
this opportunity to mention your company name, the website, any pertinent information? So, because thank you for offering that. So, yeah, why don't
Yes.
you take a moment to do that?
Yeah, so it's just wholesunwellness.com. And if you go to the website, you just go to the contact page, you can put a question in there and it goes directly to me. Even though I'm a busy person, that's the one thing I'm all about, the education and the customer relations, because I want to make sure people are being educated. So if you have questions or anything, you can go directly to the website, wholesunwellness.com, contact page, and it will come to me, and I'm pretty good at responding pretty quick.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for
Yep.
offering that. All right,
Okay.
so
I,
blends.
the blends. Oh, so you carry all of our blends. So let's hurry and start with the deep brain. The deep brain has become my top seller since I've launched it. It's just what it says. It's for brain function, for someone that's a college student to somebody that's getting older and having memory loss, everything, or somebody that has mental health issues from like depression, anxiety, ADD, any spectrum of brain support or anything. The deep brain is going to be number one. When I first developed that, I was also developing it for NFL players, like for concussions and all different spectrums. But I didn't want to have multiple products. I wanted one product that could cover everything, from, again, a college student that's in school to somebody that's struggling with focusing to somebody that has PTSD or is just aging. So it's an amazing formula. There's 6 different mushrooms in there. The top 3 that I love the best is lion's mane, tremella, and shiitake, because they're all the brain power mushrooms. Tremella also is really strong for neuropathy too, so you're getting a double whammy on that. The deep digest I did for my own health when I've had the Crohn's colitis. That was a formulation I formulated for me, which has the chaga, turkey tail, and reishi. So it truly is going to maintain your gut. But it's also, if somebody has like severe gut issues, they can start taking that to balance. Now, they might feel worse when they first start, because that's what mushrooms do. When you're in balance, they're going to go in there and detoxify. But if you can just stay the course, you're going to notice a huge difference. So it's for one extreme to another. If somebody just wants a healthy gut, it's going to also help with constipation, bloating, diarrhea, to upper, lower, even acid, like, so somebody that has heartburn, acid reflux and stuff, because of the zinc in mushrooms, that will help too. The deep immune is totally just a multi-mushroom complex. It is the one product that has every one of our mushrooms in there at a therapeutic amount, and you could just take that as a daily multivitamin. It's going to work your whole body. It's safe. I mean, of course, you're not getting the omegas because there's not omegas in mushrooms, but you can definitely take this and you're going to get a high profile. The Real Energy is probably one of my favorite blends besides the Deep Brain, because we all need energy. So this is going to be, again, for active, like get up and go, pre, post, to somebody that struggles with thyroid, adrenal fatigue. It's also great for hormonal health on top of the energy support. It has the cordyceps and reishi in there as well. So it has that healthy balance of the calming and the energizing. That one product, people like, there is no such thing as instant gratification, but that is one of the products that we get the most feedback that people feel pretty quickly. And another thing I always recommend on any of the mushrooms that you take of ours, if you're a little skeptical, you're like, oh, I'm not really feeling anything, how do I know? Well, then take it for the course of the package. So if you have our singles, which are a 2-month, maybe just take it for a month and then stop taking it, because I will guarantee you will feel the difference once you stop taking. Sometimes you don't feel it right away as you're taking it.
Okay, so Jamie, this is a question that we have. The one mushroom that you mentioned, and I'm embarrassed, I didn't know about this one either because you don't have it in the single mushrooms, but you just mentioned it.
Tremella.
Yes, how do you spell that?
It's Tremella.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one. How
Oh,
come?
it is amazing. I eventually will bring it out as a single mushroom. It's just, again, it's the education, right?
Okay.
It took me forever to get people to start buying shiitake because you got to educate about it. So I introduced tremella in my Deep Brain. It is actually stronger than lion's mane. If you want to look at
Wow.
the brain spectrum of mushrooms, it's going to go shiitake, tremella, lion's mane.
Okay.
Tremella is the only other mushroom that does nerve growth factor, but it's also, I mean, it's just a brain stimulant, but it's also helps while you're sleeping with your dopamine, serotonin, your, everything, your receptors. Another great thing about tremella, it's great for our skin. It's a collagen builder. It's a hydrator. I mean, you could even
I just
cook
feel
with
like I
it.
just want to eat these mushrooms
Oh
all
my God.
day
So
long.
you can take tremella. They use it in a lot of fancy bakeries, but they'll take tremella and put it in their cooking, like in their baked goods, because it causes the hydration, so more moisture with cake.
Wow.
It truly is an amazing mushroom. You could put it in a cold cream. It really does help with the collagen. It's becoming one of the #1 mushrooms in all skincare products, like tremella, reishi, shiitake. They're all great for the skin too. So yeah, it's a beautiful mushroom. I eventually will bring it out as a single. Right now, it's just in my Deep Brain formula, but
Okay.
you're getting quite a bit in there if you end up taking it.
All right, wonderful. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing the reishi at night and the brain in the morning again. Because now my cortisol feels balanced again.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right, keep going, girl. You're doing great.
Okay, so we didn't talk about chaga. We kind of did with my health issues. So I kind of skipped to the blends really quick. But chaga is, again, phenomenal for gut issues. Like, so the Deep Digest has chaga in there with the reishi and turkey tail. But chaga truly is, if somebody is really having severe digestive problems, like Crohn's, colitis, and it's just debilitating their life, they really should be aggressive with chaga. They can start with the chaga, take that daily, and then use the Deep Digest as a maintenance. It is #1 for digestive health in all the studies. And I think my body was already calling out to it when I was sick. And I've been in remission for years now, and I never take chaga anymore. I don't do it. It's an amazing mushroom, but it's also great for skin issues. People that have psoriasis, eczema, acne. If you have rashes, it's going to help with that. It's also great for energy and endurance as well, and blood sugar. So chaga is a great one. It does taste like dirt. That is the one that's a little stronger, but you only need a ½ teaspoon. So you just mix it into something. And then we have turkey tail. turkey tail is always been known. Back in 2014, the FDA approved it for breast cancer research. It is a staple in a lot of clinics because it is a phenomenal mushroom. It is a very strong immune mushroom. Shiitake, maitake, and turkey tail, I would say, are the top three immune, the strongest for immune support and breaking down those cells and rebuilding. But recently, turkey tail got the spotlight saying that taking turkey tail is better than taking a probiotic
I
because of
absolutely believe that.
what it does
Absolutely,
for
yeah.
our microbiome and all of that. So and it's also too like a natural flu shot. I tell people that don't want to go do the flu shot, take turkey tail. This is going to protect you. You're going to take it during the flu season, cold season, just like maitake and stuff. I feel like turkey tail is more aggressive. Like I said, a lot of these mushrooms mimic one another, but they all have their little specialty. And the fact that turkey tail really helps with our microbiome and our pre-probiotic, all of that is phenomenal. And again, it's coming from food. So, I mean, you can basically take any of these mushrooms and get benefits. But I always tell customers when you go in, it's a little overwhelming. If you've never taken mushrooms before, you're like, whoa, this is a lot. Well, they all sound good. I want them all. You don't need to take them all. You're not going to overdo it. Like I have one lady right now in Texas. She's a certified nutritionist and she's just awesome. I love her to death, but she's taken all 5 of my blends. And I'm like, because we do have the deep sleep, but we only have that in capsules. It's a brand new product. But she's taking all 5 products. I'm like, you don't need to take all these mushrooms. But she swears it's changed her life. So, it's not going to hurt a person to take more than one. But I always say, be conservative with your body. Go in, listen to your body and what you need. Sometimes if you've never tried a mushroom, start with a blend, a structure function that that you're wanting to work on. See how you feel on that, and then start incorporating. Oh, you know what? I want the deep brain. I'm going to do the reishi. Or, hey, I want to do, the deep immune, but I feel low. I'm a man and I'm low on testosterone. Take the cordyceps. So you can really stack these and get a benefit, and you're not taken away from anything by doing multiple. I just always say, listen to your body, because I feel like we live in a society where more is just like, let's do more, when we really don't need to. I mean, you look at capsules. That's why it took me so long to launch capsules, is because people are taking 25 capsules a day. And I'm like, how do you even know what's working? And if your body's breaking it down. And also the problem is in the natural supplement market, there's a lot of additives and fillers added to these products. So when you think you're getting a product and it has a whole bunch of additives, you're not absorbing it correctly. You might be getting like 50-60% of the actual, say, herb, and the rest are additives. So you're not getting a pure form to absorb correctly. And a lot of times these fillers are absorption blockers. So that's another thing. So I always try to educate to really read the labels, educate your body on listen to your body on what you need. And instead of trying to put 1,000 things at once, start with a few and see how you're feeling, and then incorporate other things, especially if you're doing it for like chronic illness. If you're doing our deep immune, of course, I'm going to say, yeah, you need an omega. Take the deep immune as a multi, and then find a good omega that you like to take in conjunction with it. If you're wanting to focus on, say you're going through menopause, and you're getting hot flashes, take the reishi at nighttime. So, I mean, and I get this question a lot, Joanne. People are like, can I overdo these mushrooms? I'm like, you can't overdo them. You're not going to take away from the benefits, but I'm very conservative on anything. I'm like, just listen and try, and then go from there.
I love your advice because it makes sense, and I love things that make sense. And
Mhm.
you're also, as far as the owner of a company saying, don't go and buy all of mine,
Mhm.
just start with
Yeah.
one. And I agree, like maybe that one will just spark that communication just enough to start healing the systems, and then
Yes.
go forward from there.
Exactly.
But I
Exactly.
also want people to, a lot of times we get challenged because we know the basics. Okay, we have to eat our vegetables, and the vegetables are
Mhm.
so important, right? We're supposed to avoid this, and that. And so because it gets overwhelming, it's like either do all or nothing. And
Yeah,
that mentality, I think, gets us in trouble
it
for the
does.
most part, right? So
Yeah.
so if you're listening and these things that Jamie is saying might seem, oh, a little too good to be true, they are absolutely true, okay?
Yeah.
If you get out of the way, your body will do all that it needs to do if it has the right support. And mushrooms from the beginning of history, right? Like
Oh
they
gosh, they've
were
been around
there.
forever.
They were there, and there's a
Mhm.
reason they were there, and they're still here, and they
Mhm.
still provide us all these amazing benefits. So that's what I just want to put that out there, because a lot
Yeah.
of people are like, well, if I'm still going to eat my ice cream at night, why bother with the mushroom? It's like, no, you can
No.
still have your ice cream too. It's not
Yeah.
one or the other. So,
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is, just to do healthy things doesn't mean you have to be like the healthiest person. I'm human. I like tacos. I like to splurge,
I love tacos. Yeah.
it's not like I try to stay really healthy. I don't take a lot of stuff. Like I am very consistent with my mushrooms. I will take, and lately I've been taking beef liver. I've added beef liver in, chlorella, mushrooms, and then I just really try to eat good and healthy, but then I also splurge on junk once in a while. I mean, we all do. And so it's not like, it's just getting yourself in that routine and looking at this as like, hey, this isn't just another supplement. This is actually food,
Food.
and it's therapeutic, and I can cook with it. I can do anything. And that's the great thing about our product, because of the way we process it. You can cook with it. You can add it in soups. The heat is not going to affect the potency or any of the compounds. We actually, with the state of Utah, because we are like a manufacturer, processor of the farms, extraction, everything now, they make us do yearly audits and inspections. Very, very critical. We have to have full traceability. We have to even test our genetics, everything. Another thing they have us do is what's called shelf stability testing for potency. Ours test out for about 5 years, which is huge.
That is
So, it's not like an herb where over time it kind of loses the, energy of the herb. These mushrooms, by the way we're processing them, they stay very potent and concentrated through the whole life cycle of the product. And again, you don't need much. It's just getting in that habit of just adding it. And I always tell people the most healthiest person, I'm like, you know what? You might think you're the most healthiest person, but then start taking mushrooms. I want you to take them and stop.
Jamie,
And
what
tell me
an
what you feel.
incredible way to finish the show.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. I'm going
you're
to catch
welcome.
up to you soon. And if you have stayed and with this conversation the whole hour, we're going to offer 20% off if you mention this radio show to any Wholesome Wellness mushroom purchases. Thank you so much for listening. Jamie, have an amazing
Thank you.
day. All right. Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Catch you next week.
You've been listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World in the Crass Plaza, US 1 at Orange Avenue across from City Hall, where you'll find all these special mushroom products. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.